hailing from Montreal, Quebec, and weighing in at 230 pounds. Wrestler Chris Benoit was found dead with his wife and son at their home following a missed show in Texas. The details learned about the grisly scene would send shockwaves through the sports entertainment world. That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
Why, hello, everybody.
Oh my God, we're here.
We are.
Hi.
We are here for another week, another episode of Death in Entertainment. My name is Kyle Plouffe.
My name is Mark Mulcairn.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
And this episode is actually the first one that we've had involving a wrestler. So I'm actually pretty excited.
A WWF today or WWE?
I mean...
Or Glow.
Glow. What's... Oh,
that's the
woman one?
The gals, yeah.
Yeah, with Mark Maron.
It's not Glow. WWF was earlier than WWE, correct?
The only reason they had to change it was because when we were in high school... I'm going to die. Sorry.
Kyle's choking right now to death, and we're just letting him do it.
Yeah. When we were in high school, the World Wildlife Fund sued WWF for using their likeness because they were the original WWF, and they actually won in court, and that's why they had to change from World Wrestling Federation to World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's absurd. So wait, don't they still go by WWF today?
No, WWE.
Oh,
they don't even they bleep out like on the WWE like studio service or whatever that you watch like old wrestling pay-per-views, they'll like bleep out WWF.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, because they're literally not allowed to say it in any capacity anymore.
I still reference it as WWF.
Well, yeah, it was what we knew
when we
it
were
as.
kids, it was
yeah,
WWF.
like Junkyard Dog and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
British Bulldog.
Yeah, that was great.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
That must
Sheik,
have
Iron
gone-
Sheik.
Iron Sheik, yeah. And Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
That must have gone on for 15 years with WWF.
Oh, at the very least.
Took them long enough.
Yeah.
So what are we covering today? What's the big thing?
We are covering a very dark story about Chris Benoit, who was highly regarded as one of the best wrestlers to ever exist. And at the end of his life, he was found...
But best fake wrestlers.
Yeah, but he was an actual wrestler.
Oh, he was.
Really
He did
good.
that too. Okay,
Yeah.
so he did like Olympics and stuff.
Yeah, well, he could have.
Okay.
But
I like that. You say someone could have done the Olympics.
yes,
Yeah.
he was a very skilled technical wrestler, but
Okay.
also a very good guy in spandex throwing people around.
Yeah, and nothing bad happened to him, and he lived the rest of his life out in happiness.
Well, that's something we're going to find out.
Okay.
So this story takes us all the way to June 24th, 2007.
Oh yeah.
So what was going on in June 2007,
I'm
Mark?
so happy you asked, Alejandro. So, so the top songs of this time was number 5, Maroon 5, "Makes Me Wonder."
Makes me wonder what that song sounds like.
Yeah, never heard of it. Different podcast.
I thought you were going to say their other big song.
They had a million,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
one does not ring a bell at
I
all.
think they're just, this is the tail end of that record. They're milking all the money off it. So this is like a B-side that got to number 5, I guess. Number 4 is Fergie, "Big Girls Don't Cry."
Yep, I remember that one.
I do remember
that.
that one.
Why are all their songs like for the whole extended
Don't say-
Black Eyed Peas universe?
Oh, you said it. You done gone and said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, her other band was huge, but she took a break, did this solo.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Yeah.
Terrible stuff. T-Pain, "Buy You a Drank." This is the shoddy snapping version. What?
And was there a bit of vocoder effect in that?
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet, yeah. Number 2 is the Shop Boys, "Party Like a Rock Star." I've heard that song.
Party like a rock
Yeah.
star.
Crack
Party
a
like
Red
a
Bull.
But the Shop Boys,
Take a shot.
Yeah.
no one probably went for their second album.
The
No.
shop or shot?
Shop Boys.
Shop.
Yeah, I knew the Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah, it's a shop boy.
This is a Shop Boys.
Yeah.
Maybe It's them coming back, but the pet didn't come back.
Yeah.
They're ripping off an already pretty terrible name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they just took out the word pet.
Name recognition. Number
It's
one.
cleaner.
It is cleaner. Like the Facebook. Number one, Rihanna, Umbrella. I know that song.
Oh, that was
L-A-A.
the summer of Umbrella.
Yeah. Tom Holland did a a very good rendition of that on Lip Sync Battle. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he dressed like Rihanna.
The director of the movie Child's Play.
Spider-Man.
So the top movies of June 24, 2007. Number 3, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
That was the sequel to the other Fantastic Four that nobody remembers.
Yeah, that was Chris Evans' original superhero debut.
I have no clue what this is.
It was terrible.
I must have been just like, hibernating this entire time. I don't know any of this music, any of these movies. Number 2 was 1408.
That was the Stephen King movie about the dude that was in the hotel room.
Oh, was that with John Cusack? Yeah, I think that was with John Cusack.
It might have been, or Samuel L. Jackson.
Or both.
It was Samuel L. Jackson.
And just him?
Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack.
There
And
we
they're
go.
both right on the cover here.
I guess I
thought it was a girl.
Oh, wow.
That is supposed to be John Cusack on the cover?
Yeah.
That is not him.
I
That's
know.
like a little
Some
girl.
weird doctored version.
Yeah.
I swear that's not him. It can't be.
It looks like 11 from Stranger Things or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it does. Holy shit. Millie Bobby Brown.
Mindy Blue
Yeah.
or whatever her name
the
is.
Mindy Blue Project.
Millie.
whatever. Number 1, movie of this time, Evan Almighty.
The prequel to Steve Almighty.
Steve Almighty.
Yeah, they made one with Steve Carell.
No, this is the Steve Carell
No,
one.
this is the Steve Carell
yeah,
one.
Bruce Almighty was
Bruce
the original.
Almighty.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this guy is fucking out of it
So
today.
you think the character shares the same name
Yes.
with the actor?
Wow, like Tony Danza. You think everything is like Tony Danza. He's Tony in everything.
Exactly.
And Taxi and Who's the Boss?
Yeah. This movie made some money, but it's like, what was the point of it? They took Bruce Almighty, watered it down, and threw in this whole religious subtext.
Yeah.
And it just made for a really boring afternoon at the movies.
I never even gave it a shot.
I hate watched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Steve Carell, I think small doses is he's good in. I don't like too much Steve Carell.
Ooh, you don't like The Office then?
I do not like the American Office.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm one of those people.
Hot take.
Hot take. Scorching.
I actually agree with you.
Thank you.
Wow.
I saw the British series first, loved it, and I was satisfied.
Yeah.
So then the other one just seemed like a copy, and I never caught up.
Yeah, like that guy BJ Novak. Who gives a shit? Like, why are we dealing with these people?
We're going really deep into the American Office.
Yeah.
BJ Novak.
B-Jack.
B-Jack, as we call him around here.
Yeah, good old B-Jack.
Jack. Yeah.
I believe he is from Dorchester.
Newton.
Newton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Massachusetts. Bringing it all back home, baby.
Asshole. Yeah. So yeah, that's the top movies and top music, and this is the time George W. Bush was the president.
Yeah, second time.
Yeah, his second term. For some reason, we gave him 2 terms. After he stole the election 2000, we gave him another fucking term.
I'm seeing a pattern. A bunch of crappy sequels around this time.
Hello.
Because you got George W. Bush and Fantastic Four
Hot take.
and Evan Almighty.
Yeah. God almighty save us all.
I know, it's terrible.
All right, let's get into this. Chris Benoit. This guy had quite a life. He was born in Montreal, Quebec, as the son of Michael and Margaret Benoit.
Ooh, the Benoit family.
Yes, the Mike and Maggie.
Am I nuts, or is Benoit usually the first name in French?
In Benoit balls, maybe.
What?
It's like anal beads.
Oh, you're right. The Benoit beads.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wearing them right now.
But is Benoit? I don't know if I've ever heard Benoit as a first name other than
Are
Benoit
you
balls.
serious?
I don't know too much about the French language or how they structure their names.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Don't particularly care either
Oh, like the American Office with me and Alejandro.
about French people. That's my thing.
Yeah, it's not the hottest take I've ever come up with.
It's interesting.
He was bilingual. He spoke French and English as they do around.
Yeah, it's like the province language. It was there was some weird splintering off at Quebec where they wanted to like be their they wanted to be their own country or something.
The south of the
the
yeah
north. Yeah, they wanted to splinter off from the rest of Canada and be like their own thing.
Oh wow,
their own territory.
I want to know this once and for all, for real. Is it Quebec or Quebec?
We say Quebec. They say Quebec.
Quebec.
In
Quebec.
In French, it's Quebec.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then there's, of course, the Quebec beads.
Yeah, hello, Quebec balls. So he grew up. Although he was born in Montreal, Quebec, he was raised in Edmonton, Alberta, where he was billed throughout his entire career, saying that he's from Edmonton. He also had a sister living near Edmonton as well.
So Canadian
man.
A nice Canadian man.
I would like to see video footage of him speaking French because he's just this giant meathead, and just him speaking French it would blow my mind. I don't know why.
Yeah, just throw you off a little.
It just sounds like it's a smart language for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's different though in Montreal, the French Canadian.
Oh, they fuck it up?
Accent. Yeah, because I had some French friends and they would look down on and make fun of the French Canadians and the way they spoke French. Their French accent to them probably sounded like a Southern accent to us or something.
Well, that's everyone in Europe. You know, they look at their kind of counterparts in North America or South America as like shittier versions of them. Like, you know, the Irish look down on us. You know, where they get off, by the way. And like, you know, in Spain too, like European Spain, you know, they look down on how, you know, I'm sure Latin Americans speak Spanish and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's always, you know, that's always been the way.
Barcelona.
Andre the Giant actually used to speak French. In his documentary, you see
I believe he's from France.
Yeah,
France.
He's from actual France.
Yeah, giant man. He used to flip cars over with people inside them who would laugh at him while they were driving by.
And then he'd drink like 48 beers as for like an appetizer.
After his father died, and he died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he cried himself to death.
Oh, Jesus,
That's
really?
a real, yeah.
Cried himself to death?
His father died, and he was so upset about it, he drank like 60 beers and just cried himself to death.
So he drank himself to death.
But it wasn't,
he didn't run out of tears suddenly and was like, oh no, I'm drying up over here.
It sounds like some kid story that someone crying themselves to death.
A fairy tale.
Like a Tim Burton movie. The boy who cried himself to death.
Oh, shit. So he was a huge wrestling fan as a kid, and at 12 years old, he went to a local wrestling event and ended up talking to the people who ran the event, and it ended up turning out to be the Hart family. Bret Hart, Stu Hart,
Yeah.
Owen Hart.
Which we will cover at some point as well.
Of course.
He got to talk to them, and Stu Hart, who is Bret and Owen's dad, actually started training him at the start of 12 years old. So
He
been
just saw him as a
wrestling.
prospect that right away.
Yeah, it's crazy because Bret Hart was his favorite wrestler, and then all of a sudden he just goes to this event, talks to people, and then he's being trained by his favorite wrestler's dad.
That's wild.
Just crazy. So
Was there a big age difference between the Harts and Benoit?
Bret Hart was 10 years older,
Okay.
so he was 22 at the time that Chris Benoit was 12. Yeah,
Because I would have thought they were similar age.
At 12
I
years
did
old?
too, to be honest. I was actually shocked to learn this. That at 12 years old,
Wow, that's insane.
started getting trained by Stu Hart.
You got to start them young, I guess.
Yeah, it's so crazy because he was born in 1967, and so by the time he's 12, that's 1979, and then he trained with Stu for 6 years, and then in 1985, Stu Hart had his own Stampede Wrestling promotion, and then started using Benoit all the time. He was billed initially as Dynamite Chris Benoit.
It's a good name.
A lot to live up to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You better bring that dynamite.
Yeah.
In his first match ever, he attempted the diving headbutt before learning how to land correctly.
Oh my God.
And had the wind completely knocked out of him. And he swore he would never do that move ever again, but that ended up being his finishing move in his career.
Because it's so dangerous, he wasn't going to do it again, but then he's like, fuck it, I got to do it for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to bring that dynamite.
Yeah, so that was always his thing, that he would always do like super high risk maneuvers.
Jeez.
And not really give a shit about his health. Like he would take chair shots like nobody else.
Well, that's the mantra of WWE, have all these people kind of risk their lives and, for not enough money and not enough like benefits or anything. No union for sure.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince McMahon is union busting every time.
What a fucker.
Yeah.
It sounds like if he had problems with his brain, it must have started around that time he's doing this move.
We will get into that.
Uh-oh.
CTE. So during his tenure in Stampede, he won 4 international tag team titles and 3 more British Commonwealth titles, which is a very odd British Commonwealth. I mean, I guess that's Canadian, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They're a Commonwealth of England, I guess. They were, but I think they technically don't recognize themselves as that anymore. I could be wrong.
Yeah, so the British Commonwealth title is probably just the same as like the United States title or whatever. It just sounds weird.
It does.
Because we're not Canadian.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Not yet until they take us over and annex us.
Yeah. So he was originally with Stampede for 4 years and then went over to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And New Japan Pro is a place where if American wrestlers go there, they are going there for a reason. They're either going because they're very good at technical wrestling, because Japan is like very high on that, like doing big spots that go back and forth and they're almost landing their moves, but the other one's reversing it and it goes on for like minutes and then one person gets like the big move at the end.
It's not sumo, or is this sumo like adjacent?
No, this is in a ring professional wrestling, like WWF.
Wow.
But they just have different styles. So Americans either go over there and, like I said, it's like very technical, like people just love the sport of it.
Yeah.
Or they're going and doing insane hardcore matches where they're pretty much getting murdered every time. Like they bleed more than anybody. Yeah, there's Terry Funk and Mick Foley used to go over there and beat the ever-living shit out of each other. Like halogen light bulbs over the head, chair shots, barbed wire, thumbtacks, fire, all this crazy stuff, knives.
In Japan?
Yes.
And it was real.
Nice.
It was real.
It wasn't a WWF-like show
Let me show you.
that was staged.
No, this is real. The hardcore matches there are so insane.
So
How do you
they're
even
just two guys.
survive
These are
that?
two guys just going after each other.
Yeah.
So bloody. You know? You know what I mean?
You said it, man.
Yeah, so he would always go over there as Cactus Jack.
Okay, so now he's Cactus Jack.
No, Mick Foley, sorry.
Oh, Mick Foley.
I'm just giving you an example of like the type of shit that they did.
It looks like a regular ring, like you'd see, but
Yeah. But the
He's pulling his pants down.
it is a regular ring, but that is barbed wire.
oh my god!
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's all real.
This is what the Japanese really gets them going.
This is what they're into.
Got me into the wire.
Wow.
As I got closer, I became braver to the point that I started.
Terry's already bleeding
Oh my
from the
God.
face. Yeah, it's brutal.
Okay, I've seen enough.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, do you guys remember Shock Video on HBO from when we were younger?
No.
Kind of. I remember the Faces of Death.
He's sort of in that realm, but they would just show like commercials and events from around the world,
Yeah.
and you couldn't believe what other countries were into,
Yeah.
what their mass entertainment
Like the
was.
regular TV
and that
wrestling.
reminds me of that. Just something insane that would never pass here.
Yeah. That's like they're The Bachelor.
Yeah, yeah, that's the love is
Love
blind.
Island.
So he went there to make his name as like a very good technical wrestler. And he actually, in 1990, won his first major championship against Justin Thunder Liger. Thunder Liger.
Justin.
And so he did very well there. And then Arn Anderson, who's like was a part of the original Four Horsemen with Ric Flair, became a part of WCW, which Eric Bischoff was kind of the
That was the
spearhead.
splinter one I was thinking of.
Yeah. So WCW was the direct competitor to WWF throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
They
Wasn't that someone that had like a falling out with Vince McMahon that went to go do their own thing?
Yeah, Bischoff was just like, fuck all y'all. And
Yeah.
went over to WCW and just started stealing the roster from WWF.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the big thing.
They
yeah.
got Macho Man Randy Savage. They got Hulk Hogan. They got
Well, because Vince McMahon wouldn't lock these people down with contracts or solid contracts that would be beneficial to them. So
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
could just swoop in after they've been developed by all these people.
yeah.
And then I think McMahon, I might be wrong, but he started like doing contracts, but they couldn't bring their character elsewhere after it was developed at WWF.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if they went to WCW, they would come back with a new name.
Is that why Hulk Hogan changed
Hollywood.
into
Hulk Hogan.
Hollywood
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
what a scumbag. Like, he doesn't, in the contract, he's not offering them any money or any protections or anything. It's just signing away all the rights that you have.
yeah, exactly. Vince McMahon was also accused a lot of. There was a a trial in 1994 that Hulk Hogan actually had to take the stand on, where it was United States versus Vince McMahon, and they had him as the spearhead of an illegal steroid operation.
Whoa.
So what the United States government said was that he was giving everybody these steroids. And then Hulk Hogan took the stand and like kind of had his back and was like, no, we're all doing steroids, but Vince has nothing to do with it.
Wow.
So he kind of like saved his ass a little bit.
But so then he came, this was after he had splintered off to go to WCW or before?
It was right before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, within a matter of years.
And then he's probably like, Vince, you kind of owe me here. You know, how about you send me some money or give me a good contract or something. Vince probably screwed him off.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck you now.
It's hilarious because as he was leaving after they took the stand, there were cameras following him and asking him about it. And he was just like, just watch the pay-per-view this week, brother.
Always promoting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then he's always in some big legal issues. Remember that sex tape and stuff?
Against Deadspin?
Yeah, they shut him down. What happened
And
was
he
Peter
won.
He won because Peter Thiel, this billionaire, one of the original investors in Facebook, wanted to go after Deadspin also because he hated them too, and then he funded the prosecution of them through Hulk, and then they were able to take him down with all that.
It wasn't Deadspin. It was Gawker.
Gawker, yeah, you're right. You're right.
And Peter Thiel did it because they outed him as gay.
As gay, yeah.
In the 2000s. And
I
so
did not
he
know
was
that.
pissed. And he took them down with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and he saw an opportunity open up with Hulk suing them with the sex tape.
Wow.
And then he went after them.
Yeah, that sex tape nonsense. He was best friends with Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah.
A radio personality from Tampa.
Yeah.
And Bubba just let his friend sleep with his wife. And that's how that happened.
That's so weird.
he was
didn't
like,
realize
yeah,
that.
hey, Hulk, you want to turn?
Wait, so oh my God.
Fuck my wife.
Yeah. And Hulk thought that Bubba leaked it, so then they stopped being friends.
Oh, really?
Wow.
But Bubba says he had nothing to do with it.
Holy shit.
When Bubba says something, I believe
Yeah.
the love sponge.
Yeah.
You gotta believe it.
You got to soak it up like a love sponge.
You got to love that sponge.
So he finishes up with New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1993-5.
Somewhere around there.
Pick one.
Yeah. So he finishes up with New Japan Pro and then goes to World Championship Wrestling, WCW, for the first time in 1992.
So he's not working for Vince McMahon at this time.
No, he's not, and he has not yet. Yeah, he had a quick stop at WCW before going to ECW, which is Paul Heyman's.
I'd never even heard of this one. There's like
Paul
so many of these.
Heyman.
Yeah, Paul Heyman was pretty much the Vince McMahon. He was the owner of ECW, and ECW branded itself differently because they were not family friendly. They were all hardcore matches. Like the wrestlers were coming out and swearing. Like they were using racial slurs.
Whoa!
Like, dude.
It's like roast battle.
Blackface,
Yeah.
cockfighting.
And those pay-per-views did so well because like everyone in high school who was like just under 18 were like, we gotta see this, like our older brother can order it or whatever. And you were seeing people get the shit kicked out of them, bleeding everywhere, like that Japan style.
Well, maybe they were trying to compete with Ultimate Fighting at that time too. Remember Ultimate Fighting came out? That it's what it turned out to be is what mixed martial art? What's it called?
Yeah, mixed martial arts.
Yeah, like that stuff. But Ultimate Fighting was like, holy shit, they got to do it in Mexico because they can't do it in the U.S. and it's on pay-per-view.
It was the two of the toughest guys from every bar just fighting each other.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
It was like regional fights, like Kimbo Slice and all that shit. And,
no weight classes either, by the way.
Yeah.
It was insane. They would have like a dude who would
It
be
was
like
illegal.
6'8" and 500 pounds fight this dude who was like 5'2".
So I'm sure this kind of like this Wild Child kind of version of WCW. They're like, we're gonna compete with them, and that's like gonna be our niche market.
Yeah, exactly. It's where the Dudley Boys came from. I don't know if you remember them.
They sound very
Dudley
menacing,
Boys.
though.
Yeah.
The Dudley Boys.
But
doesn't ring a bell.
They were like, when they came to WWF or WWE, they were like very family friendly, but when they were in ECW, they were like swearing at people, punching people in the crowd.
They were like spitting in old people's faces.
Literally spitting in people's faces.
Really?
Slapping crowd members in the face. Yeah.
That's my kind of show right there.
Dude, they were insane.
Racial slurs.
Yeah, yes.
The Dudley Boys, it sounds like an old Southern like sheriff would call it. The Dudley Boys.
Yeah. Sounds like friends with your extended family in Ireland or something.
Yeah.
We
The
can't
Dudley
have
Boys.
you.
The Dudley Boys are coming over for tea.
So we can't have you, Micah, because the Dudley Boys are coming over.
Yeah, so it's just all hardcore all the time at ECW. This is where he became billed as the Crippler. So
Oh my God.
How did he get that name?
he was the Canadian Crippler and the Rabid Wolverine. So like this is where he started to become, a little more hardcore.
Is he doing drugs or drinking or anything involved in this?
Of
or
course.
Like,
Bunch
I'm
of
sure all
steroids,
these dudes
I'm
are getting
sure.
fucked up.
Steroids completely. He's been doing steroids for probably his entire career.
Oh wow.
Probably starting like soon after he was 12 years old.
It's like he's like 6'5" or something, and he's like
No, he's only 5'11".
I thought he was like fucking way bigger for
No,
some
he was
reason.
like stout, just like a smaller guy in wrestling terms, and just thick as fuck. His neck was like bigger than my thighs.
And the steroids probably helped with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was one of the most ripped wrestlers ever. Like you could see every tiny little muscle in his back. It was
All
insane.
the veins and
yeah,
all the shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Benoit at an event called November to Remember, he accidentally broke Sabu's neck within the opening seconds of the match.
Jesus.
The injury came when Benoit threw Sabu with the intention that he take a face-first bump, but Sabu attempted to turn midair and take a back bump instead. So he was supposed to land on his face. Instead, he flipped over and tried to land on his back, and he did not achieve full rotation and landed directly on his neck.
That is a November to remember.
That sure is.
I'm looking up this guy, Sabu. Yeah, he's a big dude.
Oh, yeah. And he was like a high flyer, like just insane wrestler, super jacked, and just always wanted to do the craziest shit.
6 feet tall. He came out in 1984. He just retired November 5th, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabu just retired recently. So I guess he was able to keep wrestling or whatever, like even though he broke his neck.
Yeah. So,
God, these guys, what they put up with,
dude, this is how
for their career.
And
How much pain do you think that person's in right now?
Oof.
Sabu, he's just like
yeah.
fucking
constant pain.
probably in a wheelchair. Jesus.
So after the match, from all accounts, Benoit was like a very, very nice, like mild-mannered dude behind the scenes and was like super sensitive. And so
Emotionally?
Yeah. So he went back to the locker room and broke down crying because he's like so worried that he just almost like he could have possibly paralyzed someone. They know that his neck is definitely broken. And Paul Heyman, the head booker of ECW, goes backstage and goes, "You're going to be known as the Crippler."
Oh my God.
And so almost a haunting thing that was with him the rest of his career.
He's crying about it, and the promoter's like, "No, let's capitalize on this."
Exactly.
Yeah, he sees dollar signs in his eyes.
Exactly.
That would be intense if
Yeah.
you felt that broken up about it, and then that becomes your signature.
You have to wear that like a badge of
Yeah. You have to cripple other people now.
Like Scarlet Letter, you're the fucking crippler.
Yeah.
They start making fun of him, like, "You didn't even cripple me. I can still walk." Bitch.
You call that a crippling?
See my arm? I can still go like this.
Yeah. I have one extremity I can use right now. You didn't cripple everything.
So, yeah, for the rest of his career, he's known as the Canadian Crippler. And Paul Heyman just was like, we're going to work off this. You're going to become a heel. Heel just means bad guy in wrestling terms.
Like the heavy.
He wanted to be the dominant heel for as long as he could before eventually making him a face and making him champion.
The heel's like the bottom in like a sexual relationship kind of way.
Hello.
It's also part of the foot.
Yeah, true. We're figuring so much stuff out here.
What do you mean he gets the championship after he's the heel for a while? Like the script would go that way?
Yeah, so the plan was just to make him a bad guy for a year or two maybe, and then, you know, part of wrestling is like when someone turns from bad to good or good to bad, that's always like the big drama.
Yeah.
And so he thought, you know, that would be like the biggest pop possible, is like make this guy come out and beat everybody as the bad guy. Pretty much like how Brock Lesnar's doing now, and now he's a good guy again, so people love him.
Wasn't The Undertaker, he was like the bad guy forever, then he kind of went to the other side. There's some big dramatic thing, and he was like a good guy.
Yeah, they always go bad to good. They
build in some storyline and like, oh my God, he's changing.
I think John Cena might be the only wrestler ever that was like a champion for that long and never became a heel. He was always a face.
Really?
Yeah, because they had him advertised as like someone who went to hospitals and like did children's charities every single day. So they literally never allowed him.
But
to
the Rock was kind of like that too, wasn't he? With like
no, The Rock went bad.
Really?
A bunch. Yeah, and it was awesome when he
Can
did.
you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Dude,
I like that gift they always put on that says, "Shut up, bitch."
Yeah. Know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Dude,
that was the golden age, I want to say. Well, the second golden age after Jake the Snake and Hulk Hogan and all of them.
Exactly.
There was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Attitude Era.
And The Rock. It was just a bunch of huge stars coming out of that.
One time, me and my friends were watching The Rock, and he was just like he was talking to the crowd where he's like, "Do you think I should kill this man?" And everyone starts going, "No." And he goes, "Don't do that." Because the crowd didn't go the direction he wanted it to. It was just so funny that it was just like an unscripted thing. He was just kind of reacting.
Hilarious. It's like a joke you write as a comic when it bombs that you thought was going to fucking kill.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it wrong, crowd. So he's working his way up through ECW. He got the tag team championship belt with his buddy Dean Malenko. And it was his first.
Mark's excited about this Malenko.
Let's hear about this Malenko.
Yeah, so that was his first championship ever in America. It was a big deal for him. Unfortunately, he had to leave ECW because his work visa expired, and Paul Heyman was supposed to renew it, but he forgot to do it on time.
Forget to renew the visa of one of your star wrestlers?
That's so unprofessional.
What he refers to as his number one guy.
Yeah, who he dubbed the, what do you call him?
The Crippler.
The Crippler.
The Crippler.
Yeah.
He's crippling people for you, and you can't even sign the visa?
Yeah.
So he was kind of like Vince McMahon a little bit, not really having everyone's back.
He's got some
not
slime
doing
on him.
basic paperwork.
Right. At the very least, the paperwork.
Yeah.
So he left ECW August 1995 and went and just was like, I'm going to tour Japan till somebody else calls. WCW calls again, and they bring him back. And this is where he really pops off. He signed with WCW in late 1995 and became a member of the cruiserweight division. So it's not quite heavyweight, just under.
The cruiserweight.
Cruiser.
The Chevy
He's
Cruiser.
a cruiser.
So he impressed everybody right out the gate. And Ric Flair, who is just a legend, a fucking titan in the industry, approached Chris Benoit and said, you know, I want to tell the WCW to book you in the new edition of the Four Horsemen. And the Four Horsemen was like one of the most legendary stables ever. Mm-hmm. And so in 1995, he joined the Four Horsemen with Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and Brian Pillman. And they brought back the Crippler persona.
Oh, yeah.
So,
did it ever really go
Crippler
away,
down.
though?
No.
Yeah. Once a Crippler, always a Crippler.
Yeah. He was brought in to add to the new dynamic for Anderson and Flair, tormenting Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage in their alliance to end Hulkamania.
Oh, wow.
Boy, that's so they didn't want Hulk to dominate anymore.
Yeah.
Whoever writes these storylines, they're amazing.
Yeah.
You know, they're just creating, you know, these insane characters and then just like this crazy battles and stuff. I think.
Yes.
Could you give an example of a popular storyline that would have been going on with Benoit?
with Benoit at this time, yeah.
Besides just the general, they want to take Hulk down. What's the actual storyline the fans are following?
So right after this, WCW booker Kevin Sullivan was also wrestling at the time, and they were actually buddies. Kevin was like, why don't we have a feud? And so Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan were feuding back and forth, and it finally pops off, and they have their match. And then in the storyline, Chris Benoit steals his wife. So his wife was this woman, Nancy, and she's actually from Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
And she was billed under the name, her name was Woman.
Wow. This is
very creative.
Not misogynistic at all.
This would not pass the Bechdel test, I don't.
And she was his like valet manager, who just pretty much they just accompany you to the ring as eye candy. But she also wrestled, and so in the storyline, Chris Benoit steals his wife, and that went on for a while without Kevin realizing that they actually were doing it in real life. So
what?
She divorces Kevin Sullivan and marries Chris Benoit in real life.
Scandalous.
Yeah, that is very scandalous.
Yeah. And that's his buddy, too. His buddy, he didn't write that storyline, I bet.
Was his buddy.
Yeah,
because
was his buddy.
Note to self, don't create a storyline where your wife does another guy.
Yeah, Benoit's like, I got another pitch for you.
How about we do this for real?
Yeah. I have a second draft idea.
Got a certain je ne sais quoi.
We're going to fake have sex tonight.
and fake have 3 kids and live a long, happy life. Or is it going to be?
She's not the one that was with him. Oh,
she
shit.
certainly was.
Okay. I will say no more.
Well, that's why I kind of at the end was like, or not.
So this is how it all started.
What bad luck for her.
This Sullivan guy, next time he's writing an idea, he should think twice about what he's doing.
Yeah.
What he's setting up here.
She should have found another story. Yeah. Anyone got any better ideas? I don't like where this one's going.
Yeah. Always go with like 4 pitches next time and choose the best.
Yeah. So, like, people have asked him after that, do you regret that storyline? And he's never said that he regrets it.
Well, he can't. He's got to stick in there. You know, he can't. I don't know. You got to, dig in your heels and just say, no. That's how it was going to go anyway, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
as fate would have it.
They were having problems, obviously. Like, that doesn't just happen out of nowhere. But they were kind of estranged anyway because they both had, like, domestic violence issues together.
So she would hit him, he would hit her?
She actually stabbed him in the chest and spent 3 days in jail. And he had to bail her out and was like, don't press charges.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So that wasn't discovered until very recently.
Oh, really?
That he actually talked about it, yeah. Yeah, he never wanted anyone
This guy's
to know.
very tight-lipped about everything.
Yeah,
the Sullivan character.
He didn't want to upset her family, like saying that after, she had passed or whatever, but it's been,
But
a
he
little
could have
bit,
said it
15
before
years.
that.
Could have. But, yeah, I don't know. Keeps it close to the vest, I guess.
You know when a good time to say it is?
What?
When you're actually stabbed.
Yeah.
She stabbed me!
Like the next day, like, hey, I've been stabbed, everybody. You know what I mean? Like, why keep
This is before Twitter, though, so you can't just say, the first tweet, I've been stabbed.
Well, you don't have to tweet it, but you can tell people, let people know what's going on.
Well, he told the
with
cops
you.
clearly what happened. Yeah.
Wouldn't you tell your family and friends, oh, by the way, everything's cool, but I was stabbed?
Yeah, well, they tend to figure stuff out like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's a different era, I suppose.
The wild 90s.
Benoit ended up being very unhappy working for WCW because there was one last attempt in January of 2000 to keep him with the WCW by putting the vacant WCW World Heavyweight Championship on him by defeating Sid Vicious at Sold Out.
Wait,
not these.
Not these.
He's been dead for a couple of years.
The bassist from what's it called?
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols. Yeah. I'm in the fucking finals of the WCW, mate. I've been dead for 12 years, mate.
Y'all thought I was dead.
Yeah, I'm back.
Fucking Nancy's dead. Sid Vicious is famous for jumping off the top rope to kick some guy in the chest, and the foot that he lands on, his entire leg just snaps in half.
Oh my God! See, I hate that.
It's one of the most gruesome wrestling videos you'll find.
I can't watch that. Don't put it on.
Yeah. Everybody go to YouTube and look
I
up
hate-
Sid Vicious leg break.
I hate broken bones. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. One time, I was seeing two friends fight when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
Or maybe even younger. I was like 10 or something. And some kid was like ready to like brawl this other kid. Fell backwards. His arm went into a ditch behind him and it broke like right in front of me.
Oof.
And it was just like seeing hit like dangle.
Ugh. Yeah,
so that's
that's-
why I'm always like disgusted with broken bones.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff.
were traumatized.
Sorry for the tangent, but yeah, I was traumatized. It was like gross, but you know, thankfully an ambulance came very soon and took him off. And it was just like, oh, just seeing that,
Yeah.
you know.
The worst part about the Sid Vicious one is that his leg snaps in half and he doesn't realize what happened yet. Like he can clearly feel the pain, but he tries to walk on the leg and it's just he's walking on the floppy part.
Okay, let's move on here.
But really, the real victim here is Mark.
Yeah,
Because he had to watch someone break their
I know, yeah, and do nothing about it to help him.
Yeah, your arm's broken, but what about me?
What about my trauma?
How do you think it made me feel, buddy?
Yeah, no one asked about me.
So Chris Benoit was pissed because management promoted Kevin Sullivan to head booker of the show now. His sworn enemy that he just stole his wife. So obviously he's not going to be getting his good matches. He's not going to be getting his good promotion. So he was like, fuck it, I'm out. And he left with his good friend Eddie Guerrero, who you guys might remember. Viva la raza! Latino Heat.
I don't think so. I thought you mentioned him earlier in the podcast.
No.
I don't remember that guy.
No, I don't remember him.
Eddie
Great
Guerrero
name,
was an amazing wrestler. We'll talk about him a little bit more in depth in a minute. But yeah, he was a very good friend of Chris Benoit. Chavo Guerrero and Eddie Guerrero were two wrestling brothers that, wrestled for WWF and everybody else. So Benoit was like, I'm leaving. Eddie was like, you know what? Me too. Fuck these people. Let's go. So Eddie Guerrero...
Who's coming with me?
Yeah, they were like his goldfish.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn all were like, fuck you guys, we're out. So they went over.
Wow, mass exodus.
Yeah, they went over and were like, hey, Vince, let's work together. So all these guys show up to WWE, and I remember this happening, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. It was so sick to see, because I was like a WWF fan and didn't really love WCW. So when their guys came over, I was just like, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
And
You're
I
on board with
loved it. So he was actually in a tag team partnership with Chris Jericho, who's extremely famous and well-known.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, who made a big exodus from WCW and came over to WWF. I remember the first match he was ever in, like they completely didn't even tell you it was coming, and then all of a sudden his theme music comes on and everybody lost their goddamn minds. It was amazing.
Kyle clearly love this moment.
Yeah,
I never watch any of this stuff.
No. I didn't have, anything against it. That shows how huge these guys were, because I remember Jericho and all the guys, really.
Yeah.
There's such a mass appeal to these wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the, watching it sometimes. I'll check it out. And was it on TNT and TBS?
It was USA for WWF.
I remember USA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw and UPN, because Thursday Night SmackDown was on UPN. And then, it was Turner Network for WCW for sure.
It did have a reputation as well.
Yeah.
When I grew up, it was always like, that shit is so fake.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck.
Well, that was
like, suck it. It wasn't cool to like wrestling in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I loved it.
No, I'm not. I am not saying anything bad about
that old argument everyone's been having forever. Is it fake or is it, dramatic and, fun? It's like storylines or whatever.
Sabu broke his neck.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that was
it's
real.
Real.
That was real. And then Benoit
stole the woman.
That was real.
My wife.
My wife. And and then as soon as he gets to WWE, Benoit gets a neck injury in a 4-way TLC match. And TLC stands for tables, ladders, and chairs. So
not tender love and care.
Hey.
And not the
I mean, a little bit.
The Lisa Left Eye band.
Yeah, not Left Eye and whatever the hell the other two
what
were
the hell does that
called.
mean?
T-Boz and Chili.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
I don't want no scrubs.
So I creep.
So he needed neck surgery.
So he almost crippled himself.
The Crippler almost crippled
He's
himself.
self-crippled.
So yeah, TLC matches were just obviously known as like crazy, off the wall, meant to borderline kill your bodies, jumping off ladders, through tables, holding a chair, fucking smashing it into someone's head. Just completely insane.
And that's all real.
That's all very real.
So then where's this whole fake thing coming from?
It's just people talking shit. This shit is so real.
But it is fake too. Like they're
Well, yeah,
it's
of course.
staged.
Like,
They're
hey,
supposed to do
you're
that.
gonna lose this match, and then this is how it's gonna happen. It's not like a straight up, fight to the end.
It's scripted.
Scripted.
But
Yeah.
people are really hitting their backs on a very hard wooden surface
No,
every
I know.
time.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to clear up.
Really getting hit in the heads with real steel chairs.
Really?
Yes.
They none.
They're not
They
prop
never
chairs.
had a prop.
They're
chair
not
no,
or
like
anything.
breakaway chair or anything.
No, the only ones during hardcore matches that would be fake were like the trash barrels that were made of tin. So they would just immediately crumble as soon as you got hit with it.
Okay.
But that's it. Everything else, chairs were real.
Maybe we can talk now for a second about Owen Hart.
Yeah, that was real.
That was very real.
He died in the ring.
Yeah, he from a high.
I remember that. Was that WrestleMania?
High up. Yeah.
So Owen Hart had a second persona called the Blue Blazer. And so he would wear, a Mexican wrestling mask and like have this fucking cape on. And when he would enter the ring, he would always do it from the roof of a stadium and then on a zip line come down into the ring.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's what it was.
Yeah, they used some local guys to clip him in during one of these shows. I
Budget dudes.
think it was in Texas. No, it was in Kansas City, Missouri. And they didn't clip him in right. He wasn't actually connected to the zip line. So when he came down, he fucking just fell all the way into the ring and just died instantly.
Wow.
It was like,
That's not on video.
Yeah, it is.
it's never been released. Only the aftermath has been released. There is blood in the ring for the rest of the pay-per-view.
Oh my God. So
It
they
was-
didn't cancel the rest of it.
Dude, I remember watching it. It is one of the creepiest, actually, I could probably bring it up here.
Because I have a memory from it happened around 99, right?
I remember hearing about it.
May 23rd, 1999.
I have like a memory of seeing grainy footage of it for some reason. Maybe it was fake.
It's never been released as
Okay.
far as I know.
Okay.
That's Mandela effect, I think.
It is.
Yeah, because I've looked
I believe you.
like a
I'm
creep.
sure, I'm sure it would have been out there, and a lot of people would have watched it.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you have this footage, please send us an email
Please.
with a link.
Well, the fan base of the people that are into wrestling are also into looking up insane shit online. So they,
Yeah. So at this event, it's like they're getting ready, they're showing the promo package, and then all of a sudden they kind of cut to Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, and
Jerry Lawler.
yeah, they're just
yeah,
Andy Kaufman.
right. And they're like, there's been a horrible accident. We're taking a quick break. We got to figure this out. Owen Hart has been very injured. He's getting taken out of here immediately. And then, like, 20 minutes later, this happens.
Tragedy befell the World Wrestling Federation and all of us. Owen Hart was set to make an entrance from the ceiling, and he fell from the ceiling. And I have the unfortunate responsibility to let everyone know that Owen Hart has died. Owen Hart has tragically died from that accident here tonight.
As everyone's cheering behind him.
Yeah, nobody in the crowd knows yet.
Well, they must have saw the guy fucking fall directly onto. Where did he fall onto? Onto
In the ring.
into the ring.
There's blood. There's blood in the ring.
Because I
during
thought
the
he
rest
would
of the
have came
event.
in diagonally, but he just came a straight shot from the top.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then he just plopped right
he
into the ring.
Into the ring. He hit the
Splatter?
turnbuckle.
Splatter, I wonder?
He landed on the turnbuckle.
What's the turnbuckle?
The turnbuckle is the corner, like the metal.
Oh my God! So he could have
Yeah.
impaled him almost, or just like.
Well, yeah, he fucking hit against it and then fell into the ring. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he could have popped like a piñata.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. There was a lot of blood in the ring.
It must have been. He must have been like liquefied or something. Like
Pretty much.
Liquefied.
So,
the liquefier.
people want to say this shit's fake. This shit is not completely
Okay,
fake.
but devil's advocate, it could be a real thing happened during a staged fake as shit wrestling event.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Everything else was
that's
fake there,
exactly
yeah.
what it is at all times. So, yeah, he ends up hurting his neck. He gets neck surgery, but continues to wrestle throughout the whole ordeal.
This is our Benoit guy.
Benoit, yeah.
Okay.
He ended up missing the next year due to his neck injury because it got
Bad.
worse.
Yeah.
That's the worst kind of injury to get in the neck.
Yeah.
You
know,
can't
like,
move around as well, and you're just kind of constantly in pain.
Yeah, I met one of my favorite wrestlers ever, X-Pac. His name's Sean Waltman, and he was in D-Generation X and all that stuff with Triple H and Shawn Michaels back in the day. But he got a lot of injuries, and when I met him, it was after a comedy show at the Laugh Factory. He had gone to see some people that I knew, and we went to State Social after. And I just remember seeing him at first, and just seeing him turn. His neck and shoulders turn at the same time because he can't actually turn his neck. And I was like, Jesus, that's fucked. Like what it actually does to your body. Mark, you can turn your neck.
Yeah.
You're good.
Fortunately, I never did anything that extraneous to actually hurt myself. So.
You were never a wrestler for 30 years?
No. I had the option, but I just chose not to go down that path.
You forget how important your neck is.
Yeah.
Right?
Take care of your necks, listeners, okay? Hey, you said it, Mr. Alejandro.
Deep thoughts.
This is about neck health.
Yeah.
Take care of your neck, people.
Protect your neck, like Wu-Tang said.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what they were talking about.
They were saying the truth.
Yeah.
Preach it, brother.
Yeah.
So in 2002, he ended up coming back after his neck was, felt better. And on his first night back, he turned heel and aligned himself again with his good pal, Eddie Guerrero. So it's like him and his homie are just out there fucking being the villains. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Bad boys back again.
Yeah. And then Benoit immediately won the Intercontinental Championship. He's coming back. He's immediately winning championships. He's having like a big push between 2002 and 2004, 2005. They're really putting him at the top of the roster, giving him tag team championships. They're giving him Intercontinental. He ends up winning the WCW United States Championship because at this time, Vince McMahon bought out everybody but kept the brands alive in the WWE. So he bought WCW, he bought ECW, and so it was ECW, WCW, and WWE all wrestling together under one umbrella.
Wow.
And so they still had the WCW championship. They still had the ECW championship. And so he was just going around collecting belts.
Wow.
So many W's.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like what they do with most sports. Like with the NBA, wasn't there the ABA and then there's the NBA, and then they kind of bought the other one, just absorbed it, and
Yeah. In 2004, Benoit won a qualifying match for the 2004 Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble.
That's what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most fun event to watch every January. They always bring back like old wrestlers and make it nostalgic, and they did that this year. It was amazing.
Who'd they bring back? The Hulk?
They brought back one of the people from Right to Censor, which was like this prudish stable that was run by Stevie Richards in The Godfather. The Godfather, who was a pimp, got reformed and was like, wrestling's out of control and you guys need to find God and, be family friendly and blah, blah, blah.
I'm regretting asking that question.
And one of the women
I'm attempting to follow.
Yeah. I have no follow-up questions.
And one of the women came back and she was thrown out the second she got to the ring. It was fun. Anyway.
Mark, just keep your mouth shut.
She didn't pass the Bechdel test.
I just want to add that I did love the video games.
Yeah, those were good.
Especially around this time, they started to get really good. Like the SmackDown video game franchise was like so realistic and so fun. Because before it was just kind of like fighting games where it wasn't really like the moves weren't always like, it wasn't actually like
sophisticated.
Wrestling. Yeah, exactly. So in 2004, he ended up winning the Royal Rumble by eliminating The Big Show. And he earned a world title shot at WrestleMania 20 coming up in a few months after that.
Whoa.
The Big Show is the name of a wrestler.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy I remember. Big bald guy, just like crazy looking motherfucker.
Yeah. When he was homeless, he used to eat toothpaste sandwiches.
The Big Show?
Instead of brushing his teeth, he would put toothpaste between two pieces of bread and eat it.
That's disgusting. Imagine a homeless guy like that size, you'd be like asking you for money at a gas station. I'd be fucking scared shitless.
Just making my toothpaste sandwich. He never thought to eat the bread and then wipe the toothpaste on his teeth after.
I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of fundamental problems with that story.
Listen.
And I bet that's just the beginning of his problem.
Yeah, that's true. His neck was not too great.
So Chris Benoit became the second WWE performer ever to win the Royal Rumble as the #1 entrant, along with Shawn Michaels. So that means he outlasted everybody from the very beginning. And that's very hard to do in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
When he goes to WrestleMania on March 14th, 2 months later, it's WrestleMania 20, and Benoit wins the World Heavyweight Championship by making Triple H tap out. And it was the first time ever that a WrestleMania main event had been ended by submission. So the Crippler strikes again. And when he won, WWE champion Eddie Guerrero came out, who was like his best friend, like I said. And they went out and celebrated together because they both came champions that night with different belts. And it's just like, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, they're having the time of their life.
It's like their entourage moment. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where things kind of start to spiral because within, what do we say? That's March 2004. A year and a half later, Eddie Guerrero dies.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. He was found in a hotel room. You know, he was no stranger to drugs and stuff, but alcoholism, painkillers, the real life issues were actually like incorporated into different storylines of his. But the real thing that ended up killing him was heart problems, because when you're taking steroids that much for that long, steroids don't discriminate what muscles they make bigger, and your heart is a muscle. So that's like one of the biggest risk factors of doing steroids for so long.
Didn't even think of that.
So your heart gets huge and it can't pump anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up happening with him. It happened to Ken Caminiti, who was a baseball player for the San Diego Padres. And
he's not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. It's just like, it's such a scary thing. So this just made Chris break down.
Yeah.
And he's probably doing the same amount of steroids.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
Eddie.
Yeah.
So he's probably thinking, what's my heart like right now?
And like once you're that deep in with the steroids and stuff, late in your career, you're like, I can't stop this now, or else my career is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad I never took steroids.
Yeah.
Not that I was ever offered.
But
you did.
I took him once for a summer and it was awesome.
You had a really big heart that summer.
Yeah. I was busting out of his chest.
Yeah. You were doing all kinds of charity work.
Oh, hell yeah. It made me so strong so quickly. It was like concerning. It was just insane.
You're lifting a car above your head.
Yeah,
so you're saying steroids work. So this is, if anything, this is a pro steroid podcast, right?
Well, yeah, if you do
Except
it for
the
like
Guerrero story.
if you do it for like one summer, then have fun.
Yeah,
do it for one summer.
But don't be
that's
like
it.
Lala Zado and do it for like 40 years, you know. That's not good.
No.
No bueno.
No bueno.
It's not good for you.
I can't believe that Eddie Guerrero, like, as a kid, you just look at these people and you think they're so much older than they are. He died at 38 years old.
Damn.
I always thought he was like in his 40s or 50s. I don't know why. I mean, he just was such a huge.
Well, you look
giant
back
man.
at everyone, you're like, Charles S. Dutton, or like Brian Dennehy. You're like, in an old movie, you're like, he's got to be like 50, but he's like 28.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, Wilford
In
Brimley.
Cocoon, he really wasn't that old, actually.
Yeah.
But yet he was always this old man in
Yeah.
the movies.
That's funny.
I tweeted like a picture of him, like, you know, in those Cocoon years. He's like, he was only 13 years old right here.
That's good.
In the time after Eddie Guerrero's death, people notice a definite change in Chris Benoit.
Since we were just talking about steroids, besides enlarged heart, there's a whole host of other crazy things going on, including the emotional state.
Yeah.
You know,
hormone changes.
Yeah, the hormone changes fuck you up.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I heard the term roid rage was with Chris Benoit.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember a movie, an after-school special movie with Ben Affleck, actually.
Really?
Where he plays a boyfriend that goes on steroids and starts beating up his girlfriend and, like, you know, tears his life apart.
Wow.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, way before Good Will Hunting or anything.
Oh my god.
That sounds
I'll find that movie.
pretty. Yeah, it sounds like we got to watch that one.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good watch. Death and Entertainment.
Yeah, a live stream watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When we set that up.
So this time, like over these years, he's distraught over the loss of his friend. He has taken so many chair shots to the head. He has jumped off the top rope, landing on his face every single night for about 20 years.
It takes a wear and tear on your body. And
Yeah, and
emotional state.
This was before they really knew anything about CTE. So people noticed like he was forgetting things. He was overly emotional or overly angry, like one way or the other, super sad or super mad.
And for the young folks, CTE is
chronic encephalopathy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
Never mind then.
CTE is when your brain swells. It's like a damaging of your brain from repeated head trauma.
Yeah.
That's what all the NFL players have been getting. So,
Well, I did see, actually, not to cut you off there, but in July 2016, our guy Brunk, who was, what was his name? Sabu?
yeah.
There was a class action lawsuit that was filed against the WWE, which alleged that wrestlers incurred long-term neurological injuries.
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Neurological injuries.
Neurological injuries, and that the company routinely failed to care for them. And, you know, so they had like a class action lawsuit.
It's
filed
completely
against
true.
them. But that was actually thrown out.
Wow.
It was dismissed.
Because his wife is like a
2018.
fucking senator now?
That's a good question. Well, Trump happened to be president at that time, and his
Linda McMahon was in the cabinet.
Yeah, she was in the cabinet,
yeah.
so you never
That's
know.
right.
Yeah.
Trump used to go to all the wrestling events.
He was in it.
He was in it.
Yeah.
Right. Even when he was president, he would go.
Yeah.
No, really. He went to watch
I think that was the
a couple times. UFC.
FMA or MMA, whatever it's called.
UFC?
UFC. Yeah, he went to that.
All right, well, maybe I'm thinking of UFC. But yeah, you're right. He used to be in them.
Yeah.
Big ties to Vince McMahon.
He was a character in the WWE universe.
Yeah, he laid people out. He fucked people up.
He did.
So that was real, you're telling me?
That was completely
Yeah,
real.
they would hit him with the chair and that was real?
They didn't hit him with a chair.
Okay. So then what did he do that was real?
He punched people.
He really punched people.
Yeah, he punched people.
Why am I not getting
He
the
shaved.
answer I
He
want?
shaved somebody's head.
Yeah, that doesn't take much. Okay.
But he didn't get thrown on a table or anything. Trump, like,
No.
But he wasn't really fighting with people. It was all just like a play.
Well, yeah.
All right. There we go. Let's move on. We're not going to solve
He
this.
got
Is
he got
wrestling
he got
real?
out of you what he wanted to get out of you.
Yeah.
The movie with Ben Affleck in which he takes steroids. It's called A Body to Die For.
Whoa.
I love it. I'm in.
Yeah.
The Aaron Henry story.
It's not even done at A Body to Die For.
Yeah.
The Aaron Henry
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Is Aaron Henry a real person?
I think so. I think it was based on
okay.
a real kid that's,
It'd be hilarious if that was just a character's name, like we're supposed to know or give a fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Aaron Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. The steroid kid.
The guy from that movie that references itself.
Yeah. Aaron Henry is a high school football player who constantly pushes himself to be the best. While working out at the gym trying to build up definition, he meets Bryce, who turns him on to steroids.
It sounds like
Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce would do that.
Hey, man, you want some steroids? I'm Bryce.
And then they fucked each other.
Yeah.
So, Chris Benoit not having a good go of it. His best friend dies. He's having major problems at home with his wife.
Yeah.
What's her name again?
Nancy Benoit.
Nancy Benoit, and she was married to
Chris Benoit.
No, before the
Kevin Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan. She was known as Woman in the
Yes.
in the WWE.
She was known as Woman. She was married to Sullivan, and they divorced shortly after then.
They were together for a while.
But after the affair.
Yes.
And then Benoit got married to her pretty shortly
Yes.
too? Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Made her an honest woman after making her a dishonest woman.
Maybe they were never honest.
Yeah. So they were fighting a lot because their son had a lot of problems. He was actually diagnosed with Fragile X syndrome.
Fragile X.
Yeah, it's really not
not good.
heard of very much, but it's listed as the #1 most prevalent mental and physical retardation, I guess.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how old was their son?
7 years old.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, that was really causing a rift between Nancy and Chris. You know, the worries about how to take care of him, how to fix him.
Oh, yeah. It's a big strain on the marriage, on their lives.
Yeah.
Imagine.
But from all accounts, Chris loved his son Daniel more than anything, which is why people were so confused about what actually happened. So I guess we'll just get into it.
Okay.
On June 22nd, over a 3-day period from June 22nd to June 24th, 2007, Chris Benoit, a 40-year-old Canadian professional wrestler employed by WWE, living in Fayetteville, Georgia. Living in Georgia, murdered his wife Nancy and their 7-year-old son Daniel before hanging himself.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
Hung himself. And how did he murder the other two?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So the way anybody even found out about this was because he was supposed to be wrestling in Texas at the time. They were actually about to give him the World Heavyweight Championship that night.
Yeah.
And he never showed. And so people are calling him, and he's like, oh, sorry, Chavo Guerrero, who I said was Eddie Guerrero's brother, it's actually his nephew. He was in close contact with Chris all the time and called him and said, hey, what's going on? A couple days after the event. And he's like, I couldn't make it because my wife and son got really sick from food poisoning. So I couldn't go.
So he killed them.
Yeah.
And then went around living.
Yeah. So over the 3 days, he killed his wife on a Friday. And the way they found out like what happened is like through the autopsy. She was actually completely wrapped in blankets and had blood coming from her head. And there was a Bible next to her. They found Daniel, the 7-year-old son, in his own bed with a Bible next to him too.
My God.
And then he went to the gym in the basement and hung himself with a lat pull down machine. So he ended up pulling down the lat thing and then wrapping it around his neck and letting go.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my God.
And I already hate doing the lat pull down.
I know.
Now I hate it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hated it before.
But how did he kill them?
So with his wife, in her autopsy, they found hydrocodone, Xanax, alcohol, but they don't know if he gave that to her or she was already doing that on her own. But she was clearly not in a fully sober state of mind. But he had her on her stomach. He put his knee in her back and pulled up with like a cord to choke her out.
Oh, he strangled her.
Yeah.
All right. Jeez. I thought you were gonna say he like grabbed her arms and just ripped her, ripped her apart or something.
Yeah,
and he could have, but they said that there was no sign of her fighting back from it, so she might not have even been awake when it happened.
Maybe
which
passed out, and then he just strangled her.
Yeah, exactly.
And it goes fast.
But she had blood coming from her head, so he must have like knocked her out or something. But they never found anything.
Oh, they don't know what caused that.
The blood in her head.
There was it wasn't bludgeoned.
No, it was just like
some blood on the head.
Strangulation. Yeah, there was a pool of blood under her head.
What about the son?
The son, this is where it gets kind of weird.
It's already weird.
This is where it gets weird?
This is where it gets a little weirder.
Okay.
Poor Daniel, man. 7 years old. He was found with no visible injuries, but when they did the autopsy, they found like his windpipe was crushed and stuff, so he got choked from behind, like a rear naked choke.
Oh.
Yeah. And there were rumors coming out at the time saying that he gave him his finishing move, the Crippler crossface.
Oh, my God.
And that was coming from the police who watched his wrestling tapes and was like, oh, that's injuries consistent with that move. And so people were like, oh, my God, he gave his son his finishing move to fucking kill him. But it's not true. He definitely just strangled him.
Not true.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't. The Crippler crossface is like when you have... I can show you.
I imagine that the coroner like explaining, well, this would be the Crippler cross, but just like variations of that.
Because somehow it just sounds worse if he did his move on his son.
Yeah.
This is not footage of the murder. This is
This is the Crippler crossface.
Oh man.
But you would break someone's neck.
Yeah.
You wouldn't choke them to death.
Or someone that size and age.
But you said it was crushed.
His like trachea,
Yeah.
but not his neck. His neck would have been snapped in half if he was doing that and pulling back as hard as he could. Are you serious?
Why did the cops do that? Why did they say that? To create a little sensation?
I don't know. I think it was just some dumb fuck.
What?
It was like, oh, that's injuries consistent with.
Well, maybe there's some huge wrestling fan in there, and they just want to, they want all the info they could get, and they ran with that.
Right.
Certainly, the wrestling federations wouldn't want that to be the case because that would make it sound really bad.
Yeah.
That he used his wrestling move.
Well,
to kill his
Vince
son.
McMahon would sue him too.
Yeah, exactly.
Posthumously or whatever.
Yeah.
Posthumously.
So the one, bright spot in this is that he did drug his son to make sure he was completely passed out before he did that.
Man.
Like he loaded him up with Xanax and benzos and stuff so that his son was definitely not awake when it happened.
There has to be a bright spot.
Yeah,
That's
it's not the best term to use, but it's the only one I got at the moment.
We'll take what we can get, I guess.
Yeah.
In this horrid story.
The weird thing about his death is that he had needle marks all over his arms.
Benoit?
The son.
The son?
His 7-year-old son had like needle pricks in his arms. And when they did the autopsy, they noticed that he had elevated levels of human growth hormone. So they think that Benoit was shooting him up with HGH to try to fix him.
Oh.
Yeah.
He thought it was like a miracle drug and it was like going to help his. That's crazy.
And it probably didn't work at all
Yeah.
and was making him, hurt or something.
Right.
Well, this situation with this kid must have been like really rough for the family and stuff. And like maybe he just reverberated through everyone else. I'm sure Benoit was already, his head was already really fucked up with everything. So it didn't help. And this poor woman's trying to live through this, with this maniac, wrestler husband of hers and this kid who's trying to go through this disease and stuff.
Yeah. So with the needle marks, they end up I don't know if it's the internet swirling this up or if it was an actual angle from the police, but there was a rumor that was out there that Kevin Sullivan did that to them and like drugged him, like injected him with drugs to like make him pass out and then murdered everybody and then tried to blame it on Chris as retribution for stealing his wife.
That's a little far-fetched. I'm sure, did this guy Kevin Sullivan move on with his life?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
How could he have done that?
Yeah.
You think so?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, it just sounds
It's wild
pretty
speculation.
far-fetched.
But Chris Benoit still has another son that's alive, and he's spoken publicly about it. He's like, we actually looked into it, and Kevin had nothing to do with my dad's death.
But imagine like someone like that. If you're Kevin Sullivan, you're like, you know what? Their fate turned out way worse than anything I could do to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And it feels like a karma moment type thing. But
Yeah.
if karma was real, which it probably isn't.
I mean, that's rough karma right there.
Yeah.
That is really rough karma.
Karma's a bitch.
It's a real bitch in that situation.
That's a crazy bitch.
Karma's a cunt in that situation.
Whoa!
After how many episodes, Kyle finally called karma a cunt.
Everything's been leading up to this moment.
Yeah, the C word isn't brought out very often.
Karma, ain't it a cunt?
Yeah.
Fame, ain't it a cunt?
That was the Canadian version of Mysteries and Scandals.
Yeah.
So this other son,
Yeah.
how old was he? He wasn't in the house?
Yeah, where was he?
He was 15 when it happened.
And he just wasn't home?
No, because he lived with his mom. So it was
from
a different.
another-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, for real. He was upset beyond any fucking
Yeah.
any measure because that was the week after Father's Day. So he talked to his dad for 2 hours on the phone right before all this happened.
And did he get any sense? Well, obviously, when you're 15, it's hard to really tell,
You can tell, though.
Yeah, you could probably tell. Did he sense his dad was like, out of sorts or
No,
insane?
from what I read, he said that, it was a good conversation with his dad for 2 hours, but it was everybody else that knew Chris behind the scenes and like all the other wrestlers, they knew he wasn't right.
Really?
Like something was wrong with him. Yeah.
Just because he wasn't returning calls.
Yeah. He would go missing or, was forgetting stuff or was just super upset about certain things. And then they knew that they were fighting like cats and dogs, him and his wife, Nancy. And
Oh, they were fighting
yeah.
for a while.
And anyone who gets that kind of crazy into religion, that has 3 Bibles on hand, that's when things are getting kind of kooky.
yeah.
I didn't think of that. Just the fact that he had 3 Bibles.
Yeah, who's got 3 Bibles in their house?
We just lost half our listeners.
Yeah. What? I don't know if he bought them specifically for this because they ended up finding a suicide note inside one of the Bibles that had a note that said, "I'm getting ready to leave this world."
Oh, jeez.
That's all the note said?
That's all that was given to the public.
Oh, but there was a longer note.
I believe so.
That would be such a unsatisfying note to leave if it just said, "I'm getting ready to leave the world. Bye."
Yeah.
Bye.
There's like 14 E's in bye. Bye.
So the whole debate was like, did steroids cause this? Did roid rage cause it? Yes and no. I think the biggest thing is that they actually found out about, CTE. The guy that Bennett Amalu was the guy that studied it for the NFL.
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Yep.
In the movie Concussion.
Yeah. They ended up getting his brain, and they said that his brain looked worse than an 85-year-old patient with dementia.
Oh, man.
Yeah, one of the worst they've ever seen. So,
getting hit in the head repeatedly by metal chairs
and jumping off the top rope every night for 20 years.
Not good.
Landing on your
good
face.
for you. In the long run, it's not gonna do anything.
Avoid if at all possible.
Yeah,
do not do that.
Mixed with steroid and drug use and
drinking and everything. And
Yeah, it's
destroying your liver and everything else.
just disaster.
Yeah.
Absolute disaster waiting to happen.
It just reminds me of Mickey Rourke and the wrestler, like how he'd do all the lifting and stuff to the extent that it was insane, but he treated his body like horribly otherwise.
Yeah. And the order of events, like I said, it took 3 days. So he killed his wife the first day and then killed his son either the next day or the day after.
June 24th, that was the first day then? That's when he died.
So
it started on June 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and he killed himself finally on June 24th.
Yeah. The reason that they know that was because the level of decomposition between the two bodies were different. So she was way more advanced than the son was.
Man.
Isn't it wild that there's jobs in this world that require people to walk in on that kind of scene and, here's the decomposing body.
Yeah.
And just grab it. And then some people then cut it open. And
I think they get so desensitized to it that it's like, second nature. They're like, here's another one, get the meat wagon.
Yeah. Anybody I've talked to that's in, those kind of professions is, say that the only way they are able to deal with it is because they know they're helping people and they're helping families.
Yeah.
But it is a really fucked up thing to do is just see insides of bodies.
There was a movie about the cleaners that came in after the bodies got removed and stuff. Sunshine Cleaners. I think Emily Blunt was in that.
Oh, that's what that was about.
Yeah, I think so.
never
Like
saw
crime
that.
scenes and stuff they cleaned up after.
Oh, that's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah, it's an insane, ridiculous premise, but
Yeah.
it could be good or bad. But.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a wild job too. The worst smell and the worst energy, I would imagine.
Yeah. Some bad juju in those rooms, I bet.
Yeah.
So the fallout from this
Is something funny, Kyle?
No. The fallout
Sicko.
really comes down on Chris Benoit's doctor, as we've seen before in other cases.
Doctors aren't always out for the patients.
Yeah.
It was a man named Conrad Murray.
He's hot around this time.
Phil C. Aston III was the personal doctor for Chris Benoit.
Phil C. Aston III.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a raid on his office after Benoit and his family were found. The search turned up a lot of records. They they seized 3 years of bank records and computers. And according to the Associated Press, in February 2008, Aston was charged with overprescribing medication in a case not connected to Benoit. So they pretty much used Benoit as an excuse to go in there and get him.
Wow.
On January 29, 2009, he admitted he had legally prescribed drugs, sometimes without examining the patients first, and pleaded guilty to 175 counts against him. And he was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Damn.
So we're talking painkillers.
Talking painkillers, we're talking testosterone, we're talking everything.
He was giving Chris Benoit steroids.
Yes.
Oh, well, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
Although, if you're going to take steroids, yeah, it's nice that a doctor is administering it, but
are they? This might be a dumb question, but are they 100% illegal?
No.
No, yeah, you can.
No, you can get it. You can get HGH and testosterone and anabolic steroids.
some people need
prescribed,
it
yeah.
for their condition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you have degenerative diseases where your muscles are wasting away, they'll give you steroids.
But this guy's probably also giving him painkillers and all the drugs that his wife was taking too, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, when your patient has the neck the size of a log,
Yeah.
maybe you don't need to give him
Maybe hold back on it,
steroids.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe old log neck doesn't need any more.
Give me more.
Yeah, the guy known as the handicapper. Wait, what was his name?
It's Crippler.
The Crippler. Maybe the Crippler doesn't need all those steroids
Yeah.
and amphetamines.
Jeez. Yeah, what else was he giving him?
Yeah,
Did they find a bunch of stuff in his system?
Yeah, they did. They found
you name it.
Xanax. They found anabolic steroid, testosterone, cypionate, found in his urine.
Nice.
The investigators believe that the level found in his body suggested that it had been taken very recently. So he was taking it right up to the end.
No Benadryl on this one?
No Benadryl on this one.
I was going to ask that. All right.
For the listeners, that was Whitney Houston had a little Benadryl in her system, as did
DJ AM.
DJ
Oh,
AM
that's
had
right.
a little bit of Benadryl,
Yeah. The one thing Benoit did not test positive for was alcohol. So he did this completely sober, but with the mind of an 85-year-old dementia person.
And he's injecting steroids to the end.
Yeah, literally.
What's going through his really tattered mind when he's injecting steroids after he's killed them? And
well, maybe he did it to kill them.
Huh?
Maybe he did it to kill them.
Oh,
and
like
feel
it pumped
strong.
him up.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't take that much.
Is that what steroids do? It like makes you feel like unbreakable or like...
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Hulk.
Yeah. Makes you feel confident as shit.
But what a disgusting thing to need to get that strong to kill your 7-year-old kid.
I know. It's
Get the
horrible.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but
What a monster. Although you're saying there was dementia.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's like thinking, I'm going to start over and, I got to get rid of these two in order to start over.
Like
and stuff.
that guy who killed his wife and little girls, the Chris Watts.
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah,
huge
yeah.
story. He had this thought that he could actually start a new life if he just, killed his
Get rid
current
of them.
family.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Go
always
with
crazy.
his weird girlfriend. Government fallout. With Benoit and his death allegedly linked to steroid abuse, WWE underwent investigation by the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform regarding their talent wellness policy.
Wellness is not what Chris Benoit.
Well, that's not really the end game
Bad.
of the WCW. They're not looking for anyone to be well in that organization.
No way.
They didn't take any legal action against them, but, suggested that they need to start steroid testing their talent. And the WWE went to everybody and were like, listen, if you're on it, it's okay. We're going to test everybody now just to get a baseline count of who actually is on steroids. And 40% of the wrestlers tested positive for steroids.
Of course. I'm surprised it's
I
so low.
thought it was going to be 100%.
I thought it would have been higher too.
Or maybe some of them have better doping in which it doesn't come up.
Yeah. True.
Really? I am
Like
shocked. at
TB12.
Yeah, the clear.
Right. TB12.
And then he became, like part of the cultural zeitgeist, I guess. At the Comedy Central roast of Flavor Flav in August 2007, Jimmy Kimmel joked to honoree Flavor Flav that Chris Benoit is a better father than Flavor
Oh
Flav.
my God.
I remember that joke.
In retrospect, that entire roast, I think, would get everyone canceled.
Yeah. The show aired less than 2 months after the incident. So they probably filmed it like the day of.
Oh, man.
And all the wrestlers who knew him, they all took that stance in the press, like, he was such a great guy and was shocked that he did this.
Well, there are people, Kurt Angle came out and said Chris Benoit is responsible for his own actions. Like,
okay, so
don't put this on Vince McMahon. So there were people being loyal to their master.
Well, I'm not necessarily blaming Vince McMahon. I'm saying there were a bunch of people defending Chris Benoit. Like, don't tarnish his memory because he was such a great guy. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I guess the assumption in saying that is that someone did this to him, and who had the biggest effect on his life and career? Vince McMahon and WCW and whatever these other variations are.
Yeah. Like I said, the suicide note was not discovered during the initial investigation, but one was later discovered in a Bible that had been among Benoit's possessions that were sent to his first wife and their 2 children in Canada.
He sent a note in a Bible to his first wife.
Yeah.
And that's where his 15-year-old son was.
Mm-hmm. So at the event that he was supposed to be at after, the one he didn't show up for, they had a WWE televised event the day they found the bodies. And they did like the 10 bell salute saying, like our fallen brother is no longer with us, blah, blah, blah. We love Chris Benoit. And then the next day, everyone found out that he killed his son and wife. And they went on that week and said, we will never talk about Chris Benoit ever again. Damn. And they never have. They've taken him out of archived footage on the WWE network. They do not mention his name. They bleep it every time or cut it out completely. They will not allow him to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. They have taken a complete blacklisting stance against him. They don't have him in any video games.
Why would they put him in a video game now?
That'd be wild.
Well, they do. They have like all old wrestlers.
I know,
and stuff.
but come on, a guy that killed his family.
They had him in Raw versus SmackDown 2008, and right as it was going out, they pulled it back and took him out of the game.
That must be worth so much money if you were able to grab one of the originals.
Yeah, those Activision people. I remember O.J. Simpson. They had I think it was you can play the Madden with like the famous teams of the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the like the 91 Giants or like. But O.J. it just says I think it said football player. For his running back position in that Madden kind of like history of Madden team.
Well, the anonymous football player should have been the best then.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's got like 100% on all the skills.
It's OJ, but
agility and strength and murdering capability.
Good thing they got in that tribute then that first night.
Yeah.
Good evening. Tonight, this arena here in Corpus Christi, Texas, was to have been filled to capacity with enthusiastic WWE fans. Tonight's storyline was to have been the alleged demise of my character, Mr. McMahon. However, in reality, WWE superstar Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their son Daniel are dead. Their bodies were discovered this afternoon in their new suburban Atlanta home. The authorities are undergoing an investigation. We here in the WWE can only offer our condolences to the extended family of Chris Benoit.
That has never been seen ever again. That's been stripped. That's lost media.
And the only other thing we can do at this moment is tonight pay tribute to Chris Benoit.
Under the WWE umbrella, you'll never see it. Ever.
Well, yeah, they don't want to rightfully have their name associated with this guy.
No way.
It's just good marketing.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Stone Cold Steve Austin said that although he was important to the business, he would never be inducted into the Hall of Fame due to his actions. And Chris Jericho, who's actually a friend of his, stated that Benoit should never be allowed in the Hall of Fame. It's brutal because people look at him as like one of the top 10, if not top 20 wrestlers of all time.
Okay, what's your
top,
opinion then?
Top fake wrestlers? Like
Yeah.
top,
I think Mark's on my side.
I am, yeah. top pretenders or like people pretending to do stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
all right, what's your opinion then?
It's very difficult to tell the story of WWE without having him in it.
They put you as the head of the Hall of Fame committee. What do you do?
I think if he goes in, there's got to be a section dedicated to people who have...
you won't unequivocally say that he should not be in it.
If he's in, he should be a lesson as to why you should have a better wellness policy.
You're dancing around the question.
Badgering the witness.
Yeah.
I think he should be...
You can't handle the truth.
I think there should be a hall of shame in the Hall of Fame. That
I'm glad he's dead. I hope he rots in hell.
I hope they burn in hell. There should be a lesson to be learned that, this shit is real. And if it's not, people aren't taken care of properly, bad things can happen.
Why is the Hall of Fame the right spot for that lesson? Couldn't you just put that somewhere else?
Well, you don't want to showcase someone who like got fucked up on steroids and killed their family. That's pretty much what you don't want to do.
All right, you sold me. He's out.
And his name was the Strangler?
The Crippler.
The Crippler, yeah.
Yep.
The Crippler found dead. Yeah, it's just like, he's got to go.
Well, he's gone.
He's got, you know.
And really, who cares if he's not in the Hall of Fame?
Fake wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah. The world will go on spinning.
Yeah.
How dare
that guy
you,
could really
sirs.
take a fake chair.
How
to
dare
the head.
you? Fake chair. That shit was real.
Okay.
And that's why he had the brain of an 85-year-old dementia patient.
Yeah, that's true. He really took some hits, but I'm not going to feel bad
That's
for him.
pretty demeaning to 85-year-old dementia patients, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably some really nice ones out there.
They're probably all out there trying to strangle people. They just can't.
There's an old dude like, I wouldn't kill nobody.
I'll get my hands on you.
I haven't moved my arms in 15 years. But if I could, I'd strangle you.
Boy, do I want to kill you.
Yeah. If I had the energy to kill you.
So that is the story of Chris Benoit.
Sad, sad story.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is, his son finally was able to come to terms with it because, the findings of the CTE and just, made peace with it by saying that wasn't my dad, that was another person.
Yeah.
Which I guess you have to do.
Nice guy, nice kid from Montreal, Canada. They're the nicest people up there in the world.
Yeah.
And, it just turned into whatever he was turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Sad story.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Another story where the child dies as well.
Yeah.
So
R.I.P. to Daniel and Nancy. That is brutal.
It's always hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Sad stuff.
All right, so follow us on Twitter. Make sure to turn on the subscription bell.
At DiePod 2021 on Twitter and Instagram at Death and Entertainment, as well as YouTube. Death and Entertainment is our YouTube. It's cracking these days. A lot of hot comments, a lot of hot takes from a lot of people.
A lot of people getting into the serious debates.
Yeah, a lot of debates, and I don't even know what to make of it. You gotta see the comments to really understand what's going on, or not understand what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
We'll see you next week.
All right, see you later, dudes.
Bye.
You have just heard.
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.